Elon Musk. Depending on who you ask, he's either a visionary genius pushing humanity forward or one of the most polarizing figures of our time. Today, we're diving straight into an article from luciaclick.com that tackles this controversy head on, laying out some pretty serious accusations against him. So let's break it down. So the source material really frames the whole conversation around this one central question. Is Musk a champion of free expression, or do his actions and his words cross a line? To really explore the article's points, we're going to structure this explainer a little differently, kind of like a debate where we look at the claims and the defenses that are presented. So to get to the heart of this, we'll hear from two different perspectives, both pulled directly from the article. On one side, we've got the critic's voice, which will lay out all the accusations, and on the other, the defender's voice, presenting Musk's own positions and his counter-arguments. Let's see how these two arguments really stack up against each other. Okay, let's jump right in with the first major topic the article covers, the accusations of transphobia. The source lays out a pattern of public statements and platform policies that have, well, drawn some really intense criticism. So the critic's voice points to several key examples. We're talking about Musk publicly mocking the use of pronouns, calling gender-affirming care for minors child mutilation, and using his massive platform to boost content from prominent anti-trans voices. The article also highlights his deeply personal comments about his own daughter and his theory that propaganda is somehow encouraging young white men to transition. And this is a perfect illustration of the kind of public commentary the article cites. This post from Musk on X, well, it was widely seen by critics as not just a political jab at Dr. Fauci, but as a direct mockery of sharing pronouns, which, is a huge cornerstone of respect in the transgender community. And the criticism goes beyond just his personal posts to actual platform policy. The source points out that after Musk took over, X got rid of its policy protecting users from targeted misgendering and dead naming. The article then cites studies, like the one you see here, which reported a huge spike, a 62% increase in transphobic slurs on the platform right after that. Okay, now for the other side of the argument. The defender's voice, representing Musk's perspective from the article, basically argues that his stance is being completely misinterpreted. He claims he isn't anti-trans at all, but is specifically concerned about irreversible medical procedures for minors. His supporters frame all his actions as a defense of free speech, even for controversial ideas, rather than an endorsement of hate. All right, let's move to what the source presents as a deeply personal and very public part of this story, the relationship between Elon Musk and his transgender daughter, Vivian Wilson. The article really uses their estrangement as a kind of case study for this broader ideological fight. The article lays out a timeline that shows just how fast and how publicly this relationship fell apart. It kicks off in 2020 with Vivian coming out, but the real turning point seems to be 2022, when she legally cut all ties. And from there, the whole conflict just spilled out into the open, with Musk's woke mind virus comments on one side and Vivian's efforts to create her own identity on the other. Now, this is what's really fascinating here, how this slide just captures these two completely irreconcilable stories. According to the article, Vivian describes Musk as an absent and frankly narcissistic father. But in stark contrast, Musk frames the whole thing as having his child stolen from him by a harmful ideology. I mean, the two perspectives just couldn't be further apart. And now for round two of this debate. The LuchaClick article shifts from transphobia to another really serious set of accusations, racism. And again, it focuses on both Musk's public statements and his company's practices. The critic's voice here points to what critics call a clear pattern of behavior. This includes Musk defending Scott Adams, the Dilbert creator, right after his racist tirade. It also includes Musk's own claims that the media is racist against whites and Asians, his amplification of posts that stir up fears about immigration, and his endorsement of an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. And this is where the accusations jump from social media posts into the real world. The source article really underscores the impact by highlighting a major lawsuit from the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission against Tesla, alleging severe and widespread racial harassment of Black employees at its Fremont factory. So what's the defense? Well, according to the article, Musk frames his position not as racism, but as anti-racism. He argues he is pushing back against what he sees as institutionalized anti-white bias in programs like DEI. That's diversity, equity, and inclusion. He advocates for a pure meritocracy, a system where race isn't a factor at all. So after laying out both sides of the transphobia and racism debates, The article comes to a pretty stark conclusion. These two viewpoints, the critics and the defenders, are just fundamentally incompatible. It seems like there's absolutely no middle ground in sight.
And this gets to the crucial point. This whole thing goes so much deeper than any single tweet. The source presents this as a fundamental clash of worldviews. On one hand, you've got the philosophy behind DEI, which tries to actively correct historical and systemic injustices. And on the other, you have Musk's stated philosophy of a pure meritocracy, which sees those very programs as a form of discrimination. And to wrap up our explainer, we'll leave you with the final, pretty provocative sign-off from the article's author, Dante Oblivion. It's a charged statement that really captures the highly contentious and deeply personal nature of the entire debate surrounding one of the world's most powerful people. So what do you take away from it all?